Cougar.
Like that. You started. Oh, hey! You guys are live. I hit the button. That's why you always wear pants while you're streaming. Because you might have to stand up.
Pants?
I am wearing pants. I just stood up to turn on the lights and thanks, wife. Can you believe that woman? She knows I always wear pants while I stream, and she has the nerve to try to throw shade at us.
Have a crack in them?
God, what is my... nothing like a bald man going, what is my hair today? It's obnoxious sometimes. The baldness is just enough that I have just enough hair that I can have a bad hair day, but I can't make it look like anything else. Hey, Arcanes! Psh, YouTube tells me you don't exist and you're not here. Freaking YouTube. Anyway, I'm gonna assume all three of you guys are still here. On time. I am late as hell. That's okay. I'm glad you're here. We're going to have fun today. We're going to talk about how no game should be gay. There's no excuse to have gay stuff in a game.
Look at your leg.
What if I like my leg there? She's the one who's late. That's right. We got a thumbs up for just saying the fashion. So I'm going to be straight with you guys. We were not late for a legitimate reason. We were playing video games, which ironically, we're streaming about video games, playing video games. It was
the one that says sorry for delayed. We're
that
not
was
late.
me.
We're just delayed.
We're delayed. And we really needed to decompress after a really difficult bedtime with the kiddos. Oh my God. You did not want to see me trying. Oh. Those dudes, I love those kiddos, but this is going to suit them when they're older. They are so stubborn and persistent. That means they can get anything done. Shut up, my games. More than one thing. I want to pretend that I earned that thumb. Concord says, hi. Speaking of playing games, got my old favorite HOMM3 off to the side. HOMM. Honorary offing of monolithic moobs. Should have made it gay somehow. Homos offed by masochistic morons. 3. Masochistic Mormons. See, I got a like for that. I win. We all know the Mormons are useless in this fight. Giving up more ground.
The whole office of mess.
Oh, I like this. It's exciting. I don't know what game he's playing, but Heroes of Might and Magic, the classics and reference standards in turn-based fantasy battles released in 1999.
5 years.
That is quite the acronym. I am not a gamer enough to know that acronym off the top of my head, but for now I'm just going to pretend that you're having a fantasy battle where you're killing homos.
Hot muscle whoppers.
The only way hot muscle mummies. Okay. God, this modern day and age too. You have to deal with that crap all the time. They don't even know how to do it right anymore. Like the original She-Hulk could argue be a muscle mommy, but it was actually kind of attractive. They actually did it right. They didn't make excessive muscles. They were still kind of like what a triathlete would be like. The type. We all know why the Olympics put all those girls in unitards. Let's be honest. I still don't understand that one from this day. Oh. Hi there. So, our heater might still be broken, which is why she's freezing.
It's not broken. It's a fire hazard.
Broken in my book. Let's see. Felix says, quite possibly the easiest way to meet Russians online. It's insanely popular with them, and they've... Oh, the gay, right. the homoerotic Mormon masochists. And they've even set up a couple of rules to streamline multiplayer contests. That's fun. You know what? Foxhole, the game we play all the time, there's a lot of Russians on it. It kind of pisses off a lot of the weird gay Americans on there. I say gay American, whatever the latest CIA trollops on there are. I swear they're like some kind of psyop. And then Arcane says comic book She-Hulk was very feminine. Yes, enjoyably feminine. Still strong, right? Again, not there's steroids, and then there's just fit. She was fit and tall. So here we are. We've gotten rid of any riffraff who would have not understood our
I
humor.
think toned is the word.
Toned?
Toned.
Toned could work.
But with She-Hulk, she's a little more
The
toned.
The original one.
Slightly more toned.
I think Rosie just ate a bug.
Yeah, she's
Ew.
playing with it.
She's eating something. Yeah. Oh. Just eat it. Just kill it. Oh, sorry. Hey, we're on live stream. Look at my bald ass head. Don't look, everyone. You're going to get blind. Anyway. That was a random but fun segue. That's the hardest part about starting streaming is when you have to do these long streams if no one's there and you have to be entertaining, but there's no one to engage with. I find that so annoying.
Guess what? You got engagement.
Captain Rogine. Okay. I don't know who Captain Rogane is. Man, I feel like my Jungle Boy status. Like, you guys remember, I grew up in Latin America, right? So I don't know a lot of references. It's so funny when people like bring up a song or something, and I just kind of look at them like, "What? Wait, what? ¿Qué dice? Ame?"
So the only well-known song way back when was Gasolina.
I have trauma about the Gasolina song. There was a bar near my house when I was a kid. Latins will play that song ad nauseum. It's the hair gross. Captain Rogine is the hair gross Tim and thick. I'll try it. I'm going for it. Or take it as a challenge, Arcanes. Look, I was already going pretty bald when I married my wife. It's more, it holds you back, but don't treat it like a crutch. You can overcome it. It's one of those things. Oh man. But yeah, so it is. Why am I having trouble just jumping into the main topic? Gay. Yeah, there we go. So let me try again. Gay. Yes. Okay, I'm properly angry at gayness now. Actually, I'm kind of laughing at that. I find it hilarious. This whole debacle with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and please let them know in Discord. We're live. Gay. Okay, I'm back. 3 times was the charm. If I'm honest, not that I lie to you guys all the time. Felix Conway says, gayness in games. Just say heck no. Yes, gay. Dang it, 4 times is too many. But the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 thing actually has me kind of ecstatic. I'm chomping at the bit. I'm like, yes. Now, I know that I feel bad for the guys who were hoping that Kingdom Come Deliverance would be one of those base games we're all hoping for outside of the indie scene. But just, there's plenty of base games if you're willing to look for them. Or at least games that don't rub the gay in your face all the time. I would like to see more of that and just straight up base games. But let's face it, we're just going to have to make those ourselves. And that takes effort and learning, and I'm working on it on my end. Hopefully you guys know somebody who's doing it. But what's really good about it is just the level of the playing field. Like, John De La Rose is really doing the Lord's work here. The pendulum is swinging so hard now that they can't even have a gay plot option inside of an RPG without everyone getting into a hub. I love that this happened. John De La Rose is a saint for making it happen. This is great. Because, even back like Skyrim days, like when they were first getting those RPGs out, they were just starting to throw like, oh, you can have a same-sex relationship every now and then in these games. Every now and then. I think they started it in Fable and Fable 2 as well, if I remember. correctly.
Faithful to home.
I think so. You know, I could be remembering that wrong. I mean, I know you could have a relationship and a family, kids in Fable. That was really funny. Oh yeah, the Fable way of doing it in Fable 2 was hilarious because the screen would just go black and they would make weird moaning sounds. Which is weird. Like if you're gonna go like to that level, if you're not gonna, why not just make? Hey, they're gonna go have sex and boom, okay, it's over. Right? You don't see anything or know anything. What was the point of the awkward moans? Is it to get teenagers in trouble? We'll get into that, right? But
nobody walked in the room.
Awkward. It's great because remember how gay everything's been pushed on. I remember when I was a teenager, right, when these RPGs were starting to come out and they were adding gay plot lines to them, or you could have the option to be gay, right? They were kind of pushing the argument that the middle crowd's trying to push back on, trying to bring that pendulum. You know, our pendulum is a wrecking ball coming down for all of their faces right now. And you have these little graspers. I see their channels popping up every now and then, really annoying people. It's great because I can weed them out. Like they pop up and go, but is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 a good game? Delete. Never have to see that channel again. I know you're controlled or an idiot and useless. You're a libertarian tard or you're adjacent libertarian tard and you're useless to the fight. Remember, these are the people who were like in Gamergate and everything and did nothing to maintain the momentum because they couldn't go all the way. Because to continue all the way to actually burn out the rot that was in the gaming industry, you would have had to have attacked all the gayness, all the perversion, all the evil, all the anti-Christian stuff. And they weren't willing to go that far. All of your, another bearded individual who kept his hair, probably sold his soul to the devil. He's now in British Parliament. What is it? He named himself after a... I know you don't know, but that's fine. That's what was his name? I used to listen to his stuff before. I can't think of it, but you guys probably know. Like there's a dime a dozen of those guys. Remember the true right? They were trying to regain the libertarian or the liberal, the true liberals as they would call themselves, all this other stuff, and they wanted good games, but they couldn't attack the foundation. They couldn't attack the source of what was making the games bad. And that was the hedonistic gay crap mixed in. Even before that, it was the anti-Christian themes mixed in. You had that in Halo, this anti-religion everything. You have this in Warhammer, the anti-religion. Like the entire Warhammer series, I brought this up before, is just an atheistic wet dream. It's basically religion ruined everything. Religion continues to ruin everything. And the only way to fix it would have been if everyone goes atheist. And that's literally the whole thing. Like when you get into the lore is just the emperor of mankind is an atheist. That's it. And he made everyone an atheist, and it made the universe perfect. And that's the grand empire that was created. When he semi-died, betrayed by his sons, everyone started worshiping him, and that's when the empire started to degrade. And all that armor that you see the Space Marines are, that's not even supposed to be like battle armor. That's supposed to be like farming equipment that they've repurposed for battle armor. The idea being that they've fallen so far in technology and everything because of religion that their technology and their golden age ended. That's Warhammer's entire thing. It is the atheist wet dream. And that doesn't mean religious people can't use that symbol against them. I love how we have co-opted Warhammer for our own purposes. Because reality, all that atheist bit and that like jerking off, like when you look at some of the Warhammer stuff, right? When you get into it's so dark. It's grim dark. And it's just them jerking each other off like, I can be darker than you. We squash babies in our sleep. Right? We have to feed process children to the machines to make them work. It was stupid crap like that. Just dumb shit. And they jump the shark with it to the point that everyone points out who gets into lore that their civilization would have already collapsed. Like they can't, it's not sustainable. And their only answer is, ironically, the defense against with evolution, because they have no idea what numbers are about. They just say, oh, there's just a lot of them. Because it fixes, right? You just make the numbers bigger. Clearly, it fixes all the mathematical issues. How many ticks does she have? Girl, where are you finding this tick, dog? It's freaking winter. Should they all be asleep? Yeah. Poor dog. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm distracted by that. So, I love how we've taken over, because the best part about Warhammer is religious soldiers and then the funny orc dudes every now and then, right? But what people really like about it is the religious soldiers fighting demons. That's what people really love about Warhammer. It's not the grimdark. That's the weirdos in the corner who want to have like the like, if you ever want to see something just to prove my point, look up the Sisters of Battle's mech dude. What are they called? Well, man, I'm running a blank on everything today. Dreadnought, I think they're called. No, all right, whatever. I think it's something Dreadnought. Whatever. The Sisters of Battle version of that is literally just like a naked chick out on a piece of armor, be like in a kind of a what we would probably classify as a sex slave machine. Yeah. No, literally, it's just all it is. It's just a sex slave machine on a table, and it's like on a robot, and that's supposed to be a war machine of some kind. Like, that's not jumping the shark. That's just some pervert's view of a war machine, right? You know, just wants to put naked stuff in. That's the disgusting, grimdark, atheist part of Warhammer that everyone kind of wants to put in the corner and ignore because it's really gay, really lame, and really weird. People love the launching down, shooting things with religion and praying and going, like emperor and all this, right? That's what people actually like about Warhammer. They don't like this weird, disgusting underbelly part. That's for the nerds who want to say, oh, we understand Warhammer more than you. You normies, you don't understand it all. But let me put this weird fetish in front of you. Like, no, your fetishes are weird, even if you put it in a fantasy setting. Stop it. Get some help. That meme will never get old for me. But getting back to my point. What was my point? Man, my tangent went all over the place there.
It's all gay.
It's all gay. Art Gain says, the best part of Tanya the Evil is when she has to praise the Lord. That's fun. Exactly. And see, what a lot of those like middle of the road libertarian tards don't understand, or really they don't care to understand. Like, first thing you got to do is take a step back. If you ever run into a guy who, like, you say you don't want gay sex or any gayness at all, like, I would argue, I don't care if it's a choice. I don't want any gay relationships even on the screen. Then you might say, oh, but gayness is in real life. Yeah, and you know the people making those arguments right now in this day and age, right? Those people just want faggotry. They just want all hedonism, all right? They just want all of it. Because if you start outlawing any hedonism, any sexual stuff, they think you're going to come after their sexual stuff. It's like almost like a feminine thing. Like, you know how women will band together to protect each other so that they don't feel like they're going to get attacked? Not this one as much, but you know, she's usually the one doing the attacking, and all the other women get kind of mad at her. It's pretty hilarious. There's a reason why I married her. But I mean, you know, right? You deal with this with feminists all the time, where you're like, hey, whores should actually have to face the consequences of their actions, and then you'll have like these nice-ish, like mothers and stuff who aren't whores, like come to the defense. What? Because there's like this weird mental urge, like if they attack this woman, they might attack all women kind of mentality, right? It's the group defense behavior, and right. Hedonists have this, right? They have this feeling of if you outlaw the gay things, you'll come for their boobs next, and they're right. We will, and we should. Now, I'm not saying we need to go full. What's the term? The dudes in the funky hats and the belts on their heads. Pilgrims? No. There's two versions of them. Puritan. Yes, thank you. And honestly, the Puritans weren't that bad. You only hate them that much because of the Scarlet Letter, and you were forced to read it. And really, you should have just hated the Scarlet Letter because it was a horribly written book with a horrible story and a horrible concept that was also making a child out, like demonizing children. So that's fun. What a horrible, stupid book. It was bad to read. It was bad structured, and the concept was stupid. Gay. The only reason why the Scarlet Letter is considered a classic is because the other side, ironically, the hedonists, not so ironic, but the hedonists types, the guys who wanted people to have sex with no strings attached, right? Those freaks wanted you to hate the Puritans. That's it. That's the only reason why the Scarlet Letter is considered a classic. That is all. There is no value to it whatsoever. All of its structural, like all of the, God, I hate it when I'm running on just caffeine because I lose the words I'm trying to say as they're coming out of my mouth. My brain just goes.
Are you trying to use the make sense word or the
No.
more simpler word?
Did you just tell me to talk more stupid so my brain can catch up? That's mean and rude, and I like it. I was trying to say the symbolism. There we go. It finally came out. The only thing that book has going for it literally is the symbolism, and it's clumsily done. It's slapped over your head with like a hammer. Like what? Basically, I can't even remember who wrote the book.
It doesn't really matter.
The point is, it was just part of a larger propaganda campaign to make you think that Puritans were stupid, stuffy, didn't do anything of value, and the world was better off without them. That's it. Now, again, we don't have to go full Puritan. I do think they went overboard a bit. And they went overboard because they were reacting to lots of forces, including syphilis. If you don't know about that, friendly reminder, as you always do on this channel, syphilis is a sexually transmitted disease.
Nathaniel
Hawthorne. Oh, that fuckface.
A romance is a work of historical fiction.
They call that a fucking romance?
Apparently, now they do.
A romance.
Set in the Puritan Massachusetts Bay Colony.
A romance. What? Who calls the Scarlet Letter a fucking romance? If you were actually read that thing, you know why I'm so incensed. Like
my brother,
the romance
my mom
is her making a priest break his vows. And,
just look at the author.
And then she protects him the whole time until he commits suicide over it. And let's see here. Felix Concolar says, I kind of like the scene where she unwraps the A and places it back upon her chest for old time's sake, of course. I'll only judge you a little bit, Felix. Arcanes. The Witch is a strange movie because all the dialogue is lifted straight from the Puritan writings. Well, ironically, I don't know if it's that one, but there was at least one movie about Puritan witches where like an actual pagan witch group is like read it or watched it and went, yeah, that's how we witches are. And the first part of the movie is literally like 5 witches like just sacrificing a baby. And the witches are like these horrible things out in the woods. And he's like stopping, looking like, well, thank you for showing us what you are.
Now die.
Yeah. You made our jobs much easier. It's hilarious. But trust me, Felix, you try to reread it again, and especially concentrate on how they're he tries to make the baby that was the result of the union between the woman and the pastor, and why the pastor just is a demonic figure, right? It's again.
Was it because there was pedophilia?
No. It's basically because the child was made in sin. It's like the demonography stuff.
Oh,
blah blah blah. over ham-fisted, in your face, hammer. Hey, did you see the painting of David and Bathsheba on the wall? It's right there. Let me sit for like 5 pages describing it in intricate detail. If I told you that it's referencing the story, hello, the story about adultery in the Bible. Hello. God. Well, I can find it. Although I think I'd rather each up dedicate. You know what? Don't ruin it for yourself. I'll let me ruin it for you. It's better that we all just forget about that book. The best part about DayZ is I don't think they'll ever even know about it. They won't even hear about it. I also have a personal hatred for all those kinds of works because it was also a direct lead into attacking the Salem witch trials and then attacking the concept of witchcraft and Satanist stuff in the United States and highlighting that only those weird Christians believe in that and they're so stupid. Oh, hey, don't look at all these trials where all these kids got ritually sacrificed and all this other crap. Don't look at that. Yes. I'm getting into the weeds. A little bit of weeds. Not I was about to say not the fun kind, but none of it's fun. Don't do it. Don't invite things in.
Wrong weed.
There's a reason why strong alcohol is called spirits. Don't weaken your guard against the spiritual by lowering your body's ability to drugs. There's a reason why the other side wants you to take lots of drugs.
Especially psychotic drugs.
And you'd say, oh, but they started the drug war. No. I mean, yes, they started the drug war so they could control the drug trade. That doesn't make the drugs good. That means they just used more intense means to push it on everybody while pretending they were fighting it. Which is what they do with everything.
And then the psychiatrist gives you different drugs.
Yeah, which is
to
what
get
they
you addicted on.
Which is what they do with everything, right? They always pretend to be the opposition of the thing they're pushing, so that they control both sides. That's why the drug war never went anywhere. Not because illegalizing drugs was a bad idea. Like China actually almost eradicated the opium trade, which is why the British Empire declared war on China, and you have the whole Boxer War types of things. Good times. You know, it's a lot harder to stop a drug trade when you have a foreign power pushing it, or it's your own government pushing it. It's actually not that hard when your government's on board. It's actually not that bad. It's not that hard. Who would have thought? You know, it's kind of a silly thing too, because if the government, when it really wants to stop something like the drug trade, couldn't do it, then they couldn't stop you from doing things like tax fraud. And yet everyone is terrified of the IRS. And everybody knows they're probably going to catch you if you do any tax fraud. To the point that even criminals don't risk that kind of shit. But how did they get Al Capone? Tax fraud. Right? It shows you where their motivations are. And it's not to actually stop the drugs. No. Wow. I didn't think I was going to get... I didn't think I was going to go that direction. This is fun.
Can we toxicologist now?
Toxicologist? That's the things that's taxidermy, ain't it?
No,
I mean, we could stuff a few psychiatrists.
I'm a psychiatrist, not toxicology. No.
Wife was into the stuffing at that moment. She wanted to kill someone, stuff them, and put them on display in a museum forever to warn everybody else.
No, that's no.
Oh, wait, that was Lenin. The Observer says it's just an option. Is always the camel's nose in the tent. We just want our stuff. You can have yours too. Yep. We'll be made to applaud and participate inside of exactly. And this is why all the more. Now, I do want to clarify something. As a writer myself, there is a place for having homosexual stuff, but it's not what you... It's like showing what real life is and almost a warning for people for what it actually is. Kind of like what Fox brings up with his rainbow character and whatnot. The problem is, in this day and age, you can't even have that. Right? We don't actually need that. It's already in like full display.
To the wood chipper they go.
Yeah, you only need them as villains at this point. There's no value. You don't need to say, hey guys, do you know what gays are actually like? Because everyone's seen them now. You don't actually need it in this literature, right? You don't need it. It's not necessary. So the reason why this day and age in particular, all of it's got to go. Like you don't need it unless they're a specific villain. I have some villains who are trannies, for example, and
But they die.
they get put in a wood chipper. My wife's right,
Or a composter.
Composter. It's more complex.
Complex.
It's more complexed. Right. Complexed. Why are we saying that again? Right. But you have to be careful because that's how they get you, right? They'll bring up this argument of, oh, real life is like that. We're just showing
stories
real.
of happy endings.
Okay. That's not even the ending yet. That's the best part. No, stop there. But we're Skydog. We need the witch burnings times. The Bernies. Oh, man. And, but in this day and age, anyone who's trying to bring that argument up either needs to be slapped around a little bit and told they don't need that right now, or needs to be looked at as a threat, because right now that's going to be the next argument. We've pushed them to the point. They're at the brink. They can no longer just put it anymore. Because of this whole event with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the culture has shifted in the gaming world so hard that they can't even put any gay stuff in. They can't even put a gay option in, right? Without everyone getting mad. And that's good. We need to push that farther. It's great. We're on the verge of kicking it out. You know, I've been replaying the Jack and Dexter series. And you know what's funny about that? Though they definitely sexualize a lot of chicks, there is no sign of homosexuality anywhere. No homosexual innuendos, even though there's some crass jokes. It's like some really crass jokes for a kids' game. Let me tell you, no homo jokes, not one. Yeah, I fancy that. Like a platformer and Grand Theft Auto had a baby, and there's plenty of crass jokes, but there's not a single homosexual reference in it.
Wow. What a rarity.
Whoa!
What a rarity.
And this isn't just me like, oh, games used to be better. There's some stuff in there I want to slap around. But what I'm trying to point out is we don't have to have it. Yeah. Crash Bandicoot doesn't need to be thinking about faggotry. Assassin's Creed didn't actually need to have any faggotry in it. None of the games I had faggotry in it, I think. Does Assassin's Creed 2 have any? No, I don't know. The point.
Could you even?
I couldn't even remember. All right. No, none of it's necessary to make good games. We can get rid of all of it. And all their excuses for trying to bring it back into games is just them trying to get us down the slope again. So get rid of all of it. And we're on the verge with this and any more cycle we can do, where we've got people primed to the point where they say any gay, like forget gay sex scene, which is bad enough, or any sex scene for video games. Like, just think about animators animating sex scenes. Awkward. Really awkward.
That's messed up.
Like, I mean, they were paid to do that too. And also remember what most game devs look like. Right? Now remember that. Now put it in front of a computer animating that sex scene. Yeah, no, we don't want that. Not needed, not necessary. There is no place for it anywhere.
On keyboard.
Wow. My wife is the queen of fat shaming and just the queen of shaming. Did you hear that shit? No need for slamming cheese puff speakers on. Woo! Felix says, animated scene. No, God. And the funny part is, again, as a writer,
that's nasty.
I don't care what medium you are in, you don't actually need to include a sex scene. You don't. It's not necessary in any literature, in any of it. Not necessary, especially going into detail. All right? Because if you think about how sex affects a story, It's the after effects that are important. The lead up to them doing it is important, and then the after effects. The actual event is not important for the story.
Nobody needs to know about that.
No, it's not important. Okay? You not important. Not important. Fade the black is, yeah, as the observer says, fade the black is the most tasteful, I feel. Yeah. You don't need it. Or even though Assassin's Creed 2, in my opinion, showed too much and didn't need it, and the scene was unnecessary anyway, they still had this moment of like, oh, they kind of start, and then it kind of goes up into the stars. You know what happened. Except for like the 5-year-old who's like next to his cousin playing or something. He's like, what happened? Like, you don't want to know, right? You don't need to know. Right? They don't little kids don't need to know. And that is the thing. It doesn't affect the story at all. You want to know, and this was crazy the first time I learned this. You know the first instance where boobs were allowed to be flashed on the screen. Any guests in the chat on what the first Hollywood movie with tits in it, what it was about? Fila says Mason Kaku. Did they or did they? Spoiler, they did, and all you ever saw was a lit window. Exactly. Now, sometimes you need a little more just to make sure they know, no. But yes.
Keep it PG.
Yeah, but if there's no guests in the chat, I'll give you guys a few more minutes to try. It's pretty hilarious. I'm not going to lie. It's bad. And yes, it's attached to our favorite small-hatted, the head's questionable fellows, to no one's great surprise. How long is the delay? I don't think anyone's actually guessing. Oh, I forget the name of the movie, and it's not important. But the movie was a Holocaust movie. Yep. A Holocaust movie. Not Schindler's List, a different one. It was some clockmaker or whatever. And it was, I kid you not, the man who survived the concentration camps was going to have sex, or someone was going to bribe him with sex and flashed her titties at him, and he flashed back to his mother getting raped.
What?
Yeah, that's why they had to show it. That's bullshit. And we all know it's bullshit. There's a million different ways they could have. Yeah, swindlerless of fabrication. There's a million different ways. I could have written that scene if it really was necessary without any tit flashing. Or you know what they could have done? They could have had the woman here, the camera here, the clothes drop. You know what happens? He goes to his flashback to the death of his mother. Whoa! You all know what those Jews were trying to do with that. Oh my God. Don't even get me started with that movie, too.
I'm glad I've never heard or seen of that.
Hedonism at its finest. Snuck in, flashy, flash. But the person was damaged. Yeah, well, we know why you threw the tits in there. Shut up. It's just, it's also disrespectful towards the, it's like, even if I were to take in all these premises, they're being very disrespectful.
To the dead mom.
Yeah, very disrespectful. It's stupid. Dumb. Or was it? It might have been his wife.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't remember which it was. It was a made-up story anyway.
The details don't matter. The fact that
all I remember, how many of you guys were forced to read a classic about the Holocaust when you were in like 7th or 8th grade? I know I did. And then it turns out, I don't even remember the name of the book, but it turns out that book was completely fake. The author came out and admitted that they made it all up. And I had to read that shit. God. And there's a whole bit in that book about atheism. It's like, oh, the fires of which my religiosity burned. Oh, the fake baby's burning as I tell you to burn all your babies. Fucking Jews. I'm having a full Mel Gibson tirade right now. I'm enjoying it. Yeah. It's that bad. Right? Those people pushing abortion on you, trying to say that they lost their religion because they saw babies burning. Ass. And Turns out they were lying the whole time. Color me shocked. Color me shocked. Ha! What does Fila say? Let's get distracted from that.
I wasn't subject to such indoctrination.
I'm jealous, man. But you were forced to do the Scarlet Letter, and you enjoy some part of it. That I don't trust that part of you, but I trust the rest of you, and that's what's important. I need to get this funny again. Because now we're all like even now, just talking about this is the crap that they pushed on as young children as possible, right?
This is why I never liked reading when I was a kid.
PTSD.
I didn't start liking reading until I read some of the books that you had here.
It's true. I have to read that. I mean, don't get me wrong, not PTSD and like what a soldier goes through, but still trauma that affects you. Even now, right? I bring that up, and we both kind of, right? It's so frustrating. They purposely traumatized you so you would be less willing to fight their crap in the future. The Observer. Kids all over the world being forced to read To Kill a Mockingbird. Ugh! I never had to read that one.
And they always made it. I had to.
I never read it. I'm so happy.
You're lucky.
I know, right? That's the one where it's the insane asylum.
The one. No, it's the one with the courthouse.
Oh, right, the black guy who's innocent, of course.
Yeah, we had to watch it, and then we had to watch different variations of the movie. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They pounded in.
That's so bad. This is why it's important. You don't want your video games to become like your 7th grade classical literature course.
It's getting close to it.
Just as crappily done.
Or just as done.
Just as crappily done. Just as crappily made, just as haunting, and even more disturbing because now they're all cutting off their dicks in weird hats. Don't forget the weird colors and flags and the poop smear right in the middle of the flag. Cracks me up that they put a poop smear right in the middle of their triangle.
Yeah.
Stop it. Every time you do that, I think of the clan I like to play with every now and then. In Foxhole.
It's a cat break.
Okay. In Foxhole, where they'll just occasionally, just to annoy everyone in the tanks, will just run around the tanks meowing on the. Come, gato!
You're being summoned.
Actually, do you think you can check on Tom before me? All right, The Observer. I'm halfway across the world from the West, and we were still pounded with the evils of racism and how the weird outcast freak is really a good guy. The outcast, he did nothing wrong. And it's funny, I am an outcast, but I'm not that kind of outcast. I'm an outcast because I talk like this. Because
I refuse to be near my tranny brother.
Because I made my whore sister actually have some responsibility for her actions. But she's turned full crazy on that.
Well, she's
called me at work and all kinds of stuff. My boss's phone. God,
she is acting like a crazy ex-girlfriend that you never had.
Heaven forbid you make a woman actually have some responsibilities. Or actually
I
face
promise
the music.
I'll change. Why let me talk to you?
Heaven forbid you make a tranny actually have some negative repercussions for threatening to cut his dick off.
Oh, man.
Keyword threatening, never.
I don't know if he ever did, but man,
yeah,
he looks ugly.
Hey, you don't
want to see gorilla in a monkey suit.
Poor cat.
You don't want to see gorilla in the
He
dress.
has this look of when is this going to end? Please stop. Oh, man. But yeah. Though there is something comical about just how bad. Oh, he's going to flash his balls to everyone again.
Nope.
Oh, it covered it on my head. Okay. What do you got there, Cat? What you doing, Cat? Oh, okay. That was much more boring than either of us thought was going to happen. And so, we should rejoice at the fact that just putting gay options in an RPG, right, which was for the longest time, bread and butter, there had to be a gay option if you wanted to do it, which really, let's face it, in the Skyrim days and whatnot, that was just because horny boys wanted to watch two female characters smack on screen. That's all it was. There was nothing. There, like, I don't think I completed this thought. Whenever you're running into the hedonist type, the libertarian type, you need to stop and realize they don't actually have a philosophy. They're not here because they think on a philosophical ground that they're going too far or you're affecting free speech. No, all they want is the boobs. All they want is the dicks. That's all they want. Okay. Whatever hedonistic thing they want is why they're pushing this. Okay. Um, if you have people who are obsessed with excessive sexy figures, okay, they just want the porn. Okay. You have people pushing the gay stuff. They might still just want normal porn, but they're worried that after the gay stuff, you'll come for them. Right. And it's not something that they're thinking about. It's like in the back of their brains and it's coming out. And they're coming up, they're attaching with whatever random philosophy they can use sophistry to try to coddle together to make you think that they're coming at you with a moral dilemma. Usually it's along the lines of, hey, you think there should be no sexual stuff, but there's literally people being murdered in this video game. Isn't murder worse than sexual stuff? Aren't you a hypocrite? That is the translation for dum-dum speak that you will run into. 9 times out of 10. It's always what they run into. And the first time you deal with it as a proper thinking individual who has emotions, yes, but you also want to not be too hypocritical, it could give you pause. You may stop and go, wow, it is kind of worse to kill someone than to be an adulterer. Am I wrong about this? And the answer is no, you're not wrong. Okay? You're not wrong. Young minds can handle, especially young boys, can handle violence in their media a lot better than they can handle sexual immorality. Flat out. Because young minds want to be protectors. They want to, they always want to be cops. They always want to be firefighters. They always want to be soldiers. They can handle the violence as long as it's not too excessively gory. Like, there's a level that's just being kind of uncouth. It could be funny sometimes, but that's why you have these rating things forever that used to mean something. I remember when teen and mature actually fucking meant something. And then they kind of ruined it with Halo. We're like, it's mature. I'm like, mature is a bunch of blue gobbledygooks. Just shooting aliens. Halo should have never been a mature game. I sincerely think that even back then, they pushed that so that they could blur the lines between rated T for teen and mature. I sincerely think that because it got to the point where all the games were mature, basically, and you didn't know what you were gonna get, and it's frustrating. Oh, there was a comment a while ago. Fetus. That was George Carlin's idea for a popular bar chain. Nipples and tits. Yes, and that's why we don't listen to George Carlin, because he's a hedonistic, useless idiot. That's all you need. I don't even know who he is, and I don't need to know. That's all I need to know about him, right? It's funny. This was also the kind of grain of comedian that was like latching on to guys like Owen Benjamin back in the day because they thought Owen Benjamin was one of them because of all the free speech talk and all that. No. See, we have this group, this libertarian hedonistic group in our midst, right? Who don't want the Puritans to win on either side, right? They don't want morality. They just want the party. And they'll do anything they can to keep the party going. No matter what it destroys, no matter how civilization falls apart around them, they don't care. They just want the boobs. They just want the drugs. They just want their hedonistic thing of choice. That's all it is. And they will come up with whatever weird philosophical gobbledygook they can come up with to justify this. And so when you're dealing with that kind of guy, all you have to do is point out that they have no philosophy, that all they want is the boobs. All they want is the dicks. I mean, especially if they're like defending this gay stuff, just literally call them a fag and just repeat that they are a fag to their face over and over again. Ignore all the philosophy, ignore it, because they're not actually coming up to you. They're not coming up to you with, here's an argument, let's find truth. They don't care about truth. They just want you to stop pursuing this so they can have their faggotry, so they can have their boobs, so they can have their porn. That's all it is. That's all it is. There's no philosophy behind it. They don't have really deep, thick, thick thoughts. While they're watching their thick muscle mommies, if you know what I mean. That's not, come on. Do you think a man whose brain is going through monkey lizard mode while watching porn is having a deep philosophical thought? No. And if he's doing it a lot, is he having lots of philosophical thoughts? No. In fact, he's spending a lot of his energy in the hedonism, which makes all that part of him slower. Yes, you can blame Mark Games for bringing it up. I just kept the joke going. And so that's why you should just ignore all the philosophy that they're throwing at you. Because A, it's not even theirs generally. They've latched on to... That was a cute cat. He's doing really cute stretchy cat stuff. They're generally just latching on to vague concepts to keep their drug going, to keep their addiction going. They're just doing what an addict does. And in this case, these addicts have figured out if they try to make you feel like a hypocrite, you'll leave them alone for their addictions. So don't let them. We don't need them anymore. There's less and less of the addicts in the gamer world. And funny enough, though we mock Gen Z a lot on a lot of stuff, they are actually less addicted to hedonism than previous generations. It's really fascinating. They're not as motivated by that kind of stuff. It's great. And that means we don't need, and as time goes on, we don't need the libertarians. We don't need their numbers. We don't need them. We can just push them aside. They're weird old pervy guys now. They're like in their 30s, most of them. 30s, 40s, older. They're just old perverts now, and we can just cast them aside and get rid of all the faggotry, and then get rid of the excessive like I just brought up how the Jack and Dexter series is one of my favorite series, and I think it's hilarious how sexualized the female characters are. It's hilarious. Right? We don't have to cover up completely. We don't have to go full Islam. That's not necessary. And in fact, that goes too far. You go too far down that road, you
don't go as far down the road that my parents did with me.
Yeah.
It gets a little close.
When you start getting to the point where you're excessively covering up beauty, right? Like kind of what they did in World War I and all these eras and whatnot, what the Puritans did, you open yourself up to being mocked. Because unfortunately, there's a little truth to what the mockers are saying. You went too far. You were being too ridiculous. You were bringing all these measuring sticks to measure women's clothing at the beach when they were covering up fine, right? That's when you're going too far.
And then you also got the part where if you hire beauty, or parents hide their kids' beauty, you're actually opening them up to...
Yeah, because they're going to hit the pendulum hard on the other side, right? And that's the danger in the West. In the East, in the Middle East, you literally have a pedophile problem with it. This is kind of more of a theory with me, so take it how you will. I actually think the deep thoughts. Part of the problem that I think they have is the fact that they cover up all their women, and so all their teenage men for generations have only seen prepubescent girls as girls, and the rest have just been seen as black covered things or objects to be raped if they're off rating, right? And you have that for generations. You're naturally going to have a bit of a pedophile problem. You can't turn off sexuality. Okay, you can't turn it off. Hormones are a thing, and they're going to attach to something. This is actually how a lot of homosexuals...
You literally had to fast food.
Yeah.
Not touch it for months.
This is funny enough how a lot of kids think they're homo when they're younger, is because...
absolutely not.
Yeah, because they're flooded with hormones, and they get associated with the homosexual stuff, sexual abuse, whatever. It could be other stuff too. And then their hormones make them attach the neurons in their brain further and make them think they're gay.
And certain psychological drugs can push that even more.
That's how you can get addicted to pornography when you're younger. This is also why this sexual immorality is so important to have latched onto when it comes to, specifically in my mind, teenagers and pre-teenagers, like right getting into there, because they're so full of hormones, right? You can push them to want to be great protectors and want to go out there and push their passions towards stuff. That's why games like Doom, have at it. Maybe don't do it too young because there's gore, but have at it. Push it, right? That kind of thing. The holy warrior stuff, the being the cool platformer crazy dude, right? Well, whatever it is, right? That's all good, provided it doesn't get too gory. Like it doesn't become praising the gore, if you know what I mean. There's a level where it's becoming hedonistic. And, I know a lot of it, like, well, where's the line? Well, it's going to be different in different cultures, but we all know there's a line somewhere. And this is a course where you're going to have the hedonistic guys coming in. See, you see, because you allow that, you have to allow all the boobs. Like, no, I don't actually. I can allow my sons to live out a power fantasy of being a holy warrior as a teenager, and encourage them to want to be holy warriors when they're older, or be much more strong, capable men, or wanting to build civilization, build nations and whatnot, right? What's Age of Empires 2, all that.
Right? Sometimes we gotta destroy the old crap.
Yeah. And
dominance is a thing.
Right. I can give them that in video games without throwing boobs in their face, without confusing their sexuality, without throwing excessive sexual stuff in their face. It's amazing. And you can still have some stuff like some sexualized characters. Why? Because they have hormones. Now, I want to be careful with this, but again, if you don't have, like, shall we say, the classic when I was young, teenage level nudity, as we kind of joke about, right? Maybe not too far. There's probably a balance there, right? They're going to want it somewhere, and it's going to be pushed out. Now they need to learn how to control it, all right? But you cover up beauty too much, they're just going to, their bodies are going to associate it with anything and everything around them. Like, I don't know if you guys saw these videos of some of the Muslim guys who came to the States and were literally getting handsy with the mannequins in stores because they'd never, like, seen the feminine figure before. There's a level of unhealthiness there, right? Now, I'm really impressed with what the Taliban's done in Afghanistan. Like, it's hilarious to say that. Like, I never thought growing up I would say those words, but it's pretty impressive. A lot of things they said. But there is a level where you do take it too far and you open yourself up to mockery and the pendulum swinging back in the other direction. We got to be careful of that. There's a happy middle ground where we can hold the pendulum in place, where we don't allow things to get to the point where future generations will, with the truth on their side, mock us and then use that as a slippery slope to go all the way into the other direction. And the next thing you know, you have trannies and stuff on your video games and in your house and in your face. And having that dumb gay man choir saying how they're gonna come after your kids. Right? And it annoys me so much. It's also kind of silly to me how it was always obvious to me as a kid and everything, because how do you make more gay people? You don't make more children. You have to damage children that are already there to make them gay. Right? The dumbest concept ever was the gay gene. If there was the gay gene, you know what would have happened? It would have been bred out of the society. It would have been bred out because it's not spreading its genes, because it's not into the boobs. And the boobs, or the thing below the boobs, are what make the babies. You're not into making the babies, you're not going to spread your genes. Meaning a gay gene would be pushed out of any populating group. The concept that there would be one is just stupid. By its very definition, it cannot work because it would breed itself out of a population. for obvious reasons. Something that's not interested in intercourse with the thing that makes the babies will not pass its genes down to the next generation. And thus, enough generations, and we've had a lot of generations, it would be bred out of society. And no, the Spartans weren't gay. They weren't. That was the fact that I even have to hear this sometimes in like the Vox world and like Social Galactic and all that annoys me. They were never gay. All right? They were not gay. If they were gay, there wouldn't have been enough Spartans to fight properly because they would be stooping each other and not making babies.
That's why the prey always go with it.
Yeah.
The predators go with the prey go.
And it's funny. I wish I didn't know I was going to be talking. I should have guessed I was going to be talking about this because of the gay stuff. But there's this whole guy on YouTube who really, young guy, who really just set up the fact that, you know where the gay Greek stuff came from? Can you guess? Vases. Vases. Like 5 vases. Out of the thousands of pottery, there's like 5 vases. Like vases, like pottery.
Okay.
With some homosexual stuff on it. Like 5 or 10 of those. Out of the thousands that were found, have some gay depictions. And they were in some rich people's houses. So thus the Greeks must be gay. That's like the equivalent of someone going back into the America stuff and finding like the gay treasure trove in like Podesta's house and then declaring that we were all gay. And the funny thing is, there's a lot more evidence that from that perspective that our civilization was gay because of all this stupid tranny shit everywhere and gay crap, right? But we still were never actually gay. Even at its height, we were not gay. And we still only had like 3%. Like, when you think about how low the number actually is, the most they could get is like 3% with all that pushing and crap and the hormones and the drugs and all the shit they were pushing. Should tell you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. They were not gay. There are some other things, but when you look at it, they literally had physical punishment. Like, it was illegal to be a fag. You would be publicly shamed and like tortured with a turnip if you were caught to be a gay in Greek society.
I don't want to know why. A turnip? Do they stuff turnips?
Yes. If you were the one who took the D, if you know what I mean, they would make you take a turnip. If you don't know, turnips are spicy and painful. They also actively would insult their enemies, the Persians, by saying they were effeminate and gay. They, like us, thought gay was an insult. They called their enemies fags. This isn't hard. Better than the Tycon. Shut up. Felix says better than the Tycon. The point that I'm obviously making here is there's this whole nonsense that I had to deal with. And I'm sure you guys have to deal. Like, I don't know. Like, if you're Gen Z, you might not have had to deal with millennials. They pounded this concept, pun not intended, into our heads that the gays were all throughout history and the Spartans were gay and Da Vinci was gay. You know? Anyone who had a brain was gay. And every time, as a kid, I looked up the reasons for this. It was bullcrap. Every single stinking time. I remember they were trying to claim Abraham Lincoln was gay. Now, I think Abraham Lincoln is a fag for different reasons these days, but I don't think he was actually taking it or giving it physically. He was just a horrible person. You know what? You don't have to be a fag to be a horrible person. I know. It's a thing. However, in this case, the only thing they had for saying that Abraham Lincoln was gay was that he slept in the same bed with another dude in a hostel once. Only that's what you did back then because there wasn't enough beds in hostels and hotels. And the civilization was so not gay that no one thought you were gay for doing that. You could sleep and just sleep. It was... Imagine a society that's so broken on our busted minds that dudes could sleep in the same room and they weren't considered gay. In the same beds even. And they didn't do gay stuff.
Think about it.
That's how broken our minds as millennials and everyone has been. just
Like,
assuming everything's
you
sexual.
used to be able to have picture stream where all the guys were in one room and all the girls were in the other.
Yeah,
Nothing weird going on.
Yeah, and that's all I had. The fact that he was married for the vast majority of his life and didn't show any interest in lots of other girls or lots of other men, notwithstanding. Again, horrible dictator, but what are you going to do? So the Observer says, remember when Assassin's Creed 2 claimed Da Vinci had a boy lover? Did they? Dang it. That was based on a nuisance complaint that was thrown out of court. Yeah, that's right. His detractors in real life were trying to say he was gay. I remember that. He might have been gay. I don't know. But probably wasn't. That's so annoying. Yeah, I missed that in Assassin's Creed 2. I beat that game several times, and because I was still a naive kid. It must have gone over my head. That's funny. Naive missionary kid, like I was like, oh, I'm stabbing and killing all these Templars. This is great. Oh, hi, Da Vinci. What's your next cool tool that I can kill people with? That's all Da Vinci was for me as a kid. Was a guy making me new weapons.
Your parents were especially made you naive.
That's probably for it's okay in a way to be naive about. I want to go back to the time where you could be naive about this, and then older people could be smarter. Like older people can be in a position to shield kids from this, because the last thing a really hormonal teenager needs is more confusion slapped on top. All right, they're already having enough trouble as it is with attractive women, right? And again, they need to have attractive women around them. You can't just cover up beauty. They need to understand the beauty's there, so they can healthfully associate those sexual desires towards the female form and not other things. And I know it's so hard. How do you help a kid develop a healthy sexual desire for the female form without sinning lustfully? I don't know. Complicated. Now, luckily, boys in their own, if you don't mess with it too much and you just shield them from all the gay crap and from too much excessive porn, or just porn in general, excessive porn, just porn in general, shall we say, right? Excessive cleavage, shall we say? There we go. Let's protect them from excessive cleavage.
You don't want to see all the plastic.
From excessive whoredoms, if you will. Right? Whoredoms. That's funny. Those characters were sexualized, but they were actually characters. There was the mechanic chick, there was the spy chick, and then there was the tough guard chick. And they were just feminine. That was kind of fun. I cracked myself up thinking about that.
You want to talk about Final Fantasy?
I never actually played that as a child. That's really funny. But as I hear.
That guard's chick was not.
Oh, man. Right. So it's something to think about, too. There's where the nuance is, but you got to remember the average human cannot handle nuance. The average person can't do nuance. They need either this is all bad or this is all good. And wishing for humanity to be different is a waste of time. So you need to work with what you got. And especially in this time and age, there's no room for nuance. We got to just no gay.
It's like the Punisher.
Cut it off.
The word that I hate the most is nuance.
Yes. You've been playing that game too much, and I love you.
We're at level 43 now.
Oh, man. But wow, I don't know if I actually did a proper argument for anything, but I hope you guys understand what I'm getting at here. We can cut it all out. It doesn't need to be there. No, you are not hypocritical for wanting violence in video games, but not homo stuff. You're not. Teenagers can handle more violence because particular boys are going to turn into men who are going to have to deal with violence. And particularly, our children are going to have to deal with a lot of violence. Okay? So...
And also, our children are going to have to fix things.
So wouldn't you
the violence
like a medium where you can kind of teach them, harness that already natural violent side towards positivity? Right? there's a reason why our generation was suppressed on this level, right? Especially from the
Is that why we
churchianity.
have crappy doctors?
Yeah, from the churchianity, from the schools, like both from the atheist side and all the other sides. What was the thing that global Homo Satanism was trying to do? All men suppress your violent side. You are the problem. You are what's wrong with this world. Your violence is the issue.
You're
Why?
basically a monster if you're and get angry.
Right.
Mhm.
Why were they doing this? Because they didn't want men to be strong enough to resist them, which would have required violence, which would have required action. Let's not say violence. We'll say action, because I don't need this call of violence. Like, even now, I have to still hedge myself for legal reasons and say, I am not calling to violence. I am saying action is important for previous generations. I will allow future generations to figure themselves out. You don't do it now because no one's going to do it with you right now. But you get the point. Because we were suppressed so much on that level, we are unwilling to even say that Superman should kill the Joker for murdering his wife. Like, that's somehow going to turn Superman into, like, the whole plot of that is Joker drives Superman crazy. This is a real comic story, right? By some versions of, he tricks Superman into killing his own wife. Other versions, he just kills his wife and his unborn baby. And then from that act of vengeance, Superman becomes the biggest monster ever. Or does Felix say, Asimov, violence is the last refuge of the incompetent. Promeo, you're absolutely right. The competent don't wait that long. Thank you. Thank you. When you get to the point where you're overwhelmed, you've officially waited too long. And though that was interesting, my brain's now trying to get back to, oh yeah, that whole plot point is great. The whole thing, Batman, Superman, both of those characters, the push number one comic thing, right? What is always the darker stories with them? Or they finally cross the line and kill somebody, and that turns them into a monster. They become the thing they hated. Which, even in these cases, is actually not true. Superman doesn't turn into a laughing Joker. He becomes a dictator. Joker's not a dictator. He's just a nut job. The Observer says, the Chinese saying, the gentleman moves his mouth and not his fists, originated with court eunuchs. Yes, court eunuchs definitely would want you not to punch them for their crap. I would also remind everyone that this is coming from China, which had on their own the third highest casualty war, just a civil war between their kingdoms ever, right behind World War I and World War II, just in their own nation. So the concept that they don't use violence is laughable and hilarious.
Have you seen how Chinese people raise their kids? Compared to
Now,
United
there is a
States?
level of going too far, right? I want to clarify, right? The Bible has lots of things telling us how we should temper our anger, and yes.
Yes.
But it also has all these stories about, stabbing people who are committing adultery in front of God. Like, did you guys know that story? I bring it up in my Sunday school lessons. You guys should check them out. New ones every Sunday. There's a whole story where the Israelites are being tempted by the Moabite women, and the Moabite women are just whoring themselves out to them to try to convince the Israelites not to kill them. And as they're going through this plague, and God is punishing them for them, and the elders of Israel are like crying out to God to spare them, a guy actually takes one of these Moab women into a tent right in front of them to go have sex with her. As he's doing that, one of Caleb's cronies, I think, or was it Caleb himself? One of these young guys follows them into the tent with a spear, waits for them to get into the act, and kills them with one thrust while they're doing it. And because he did that,
use the birds.
I mean, he chose a spear. He didn't choose something else. Go him. I think he was doing that on purpose. That stopped the plague. Like, God had mercy on Israel because that guy killed that dude and that chick. Keep in mind, God didn't tell him to do it. He just did it.
He was blessed for it.
Yeah. And then there was Ehud, right? I like bringing him up. The assassin who killed the fat dude, right? God didn't tell him to go kill the fat dude. He just went and assassinated a world leader, a king, and then God blessed him for it. Well, it's kind of funny to point that out. So, what do you want? You're not hungry? Is food taking that long?
Are you cold?
He's hungry and cold. Poor cat, though. So,
Short fur problem.
Poor gato. He is not the big fluffy. He's floofball, but not that floofy. So, I think I was getting to the point. Oh, the original where this tangent came from was this is why violence in video games is not as bad as sexual immorality in video games. Now, with all things, there's too much. Too much sugar will get you sick and rot your teeth. Too much alcohol will do much the same thing in a lot of ways. And also open you up to demon possession. Hence, spirits. The drugs will do even worse things. If you want to go down a rabbit hole, good. Oh, shoot.
What?
I haven't uploaded the recording yet and made the video for tomorrow. I'm going to have to do that before I go to bed. It's going to be a late one for me.
Somebody stare at the stream.
Maybe we
You
got.
could do it in the morning.
Oh, no, but then that means I have to hold up the internet while it uploads for 4 hours. That means no tunes for you kids, no game for you. Maybe we'll just have that go up Sunday.
But I need you to keep me warm. It's cold outside.
All right. Okay, guys. So if you know, Saturdays are supposed to be the day that I put up new Grizzly Files episodes, which is creepy episodes. We have one recorded. I just haven't put it to video format yet. And that takes a long time to upload on our crappy internet. As you can probably guess,
It's even
the
worse
horrible
with the
quality of
winter.
our stream. Oh, man. So we'll probably be doing that Sunday because I need to set it up
Tomorrow's
overnight
gonna
as we
be
sleep.
52. Thank goodness.
Oh, it's gonna get a little warmer. Good.
Right
Again,
now it's
we can't turn on our heater without the house trying to burn down. It's amazing. But so you're here to hear first. I'll also announce it on our Discord. Join our Discord, by the way. There should be a link in the description. Let me know if that link's not working, and I'll get Discord to give me a new one. I keep selecting the option to make the link never expire, and it keeps expiring it anyway. And it makes me want to kill someone, because why would I want that? Why would I click the non-expire only to have it constantly expire?
Check your settings.
No, I said I just clicked the setting that does the non-expire, and it does it anyway.
Backup settings.
Backup settings?
You know
The setting within
you
the
know how
setting.
it says settings and then more settings.
I think Discord just doesn't like me. It's very possible.
It calls us
After that whole
Discord.
Jude discourse, I'm pretty sure they hate me quite thoroughly. I need to come up with an email list too, because let's face it, boys, whenever we get any kinds of numbers, Discord is going to kick us out hard. Have you seen their terms of service? I break all of those on a daily basis. Not all of them, but the ones that well-standing individuals like myself do.
This is why I don't type on Discord except for your channel.
But yes. So I'm afraid the Grizzly Files will have to be delayed till Sunday.
Sunday?
Yeah,
Tomorrow. Oh,
tomorrow. Well, today is technically Saturday. That's why it's confusing.
Tomorrow's-
We're past midnight, babe. The phone would have changed.
It didn't change for me. Why?
Well, it's the 25th.
Today's Friday night. Oh, right.
So it'll go up to 26th. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I forget.
Oh, it says Saturday 25th.
Slowing down. I'm forgetting what my tangents, where they came from. I was talking about something creepy. That's why we went down this road, and now I don't think I completed the tangent before I got distracted by the other
What
tangent.
was it?
Something creepy. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been talking about Grizzly Files.
You were announcing Grizzly Files. Did we talk about what was on it?
No, but I remember I was saying something creepy. I'm like, oh, hey, that's a Grizzly File episode. We should do someday. And then my brain farts. I need more sleep. That's what I need. Less caffeine, more sleep. That's what everyone needs on some level. And yet, you don't always get it, do you? It's a horror story in and of itself. Stop meowing at me. Your butt. Yeah, I know you're hungry. You're gonna feed them, right? You're gonna feed them. You're gonna feed. What are you shaking your head no for? She does this. It's like, can we have another animal? I'll feed him. I'll clean up after. I'll do. Sure she will. Sure she will. I wanted to train that cat to poop outside like my cat when I was a child.
Your cat ran away for 6 months.
Yeah, because we let some weirdo take care of him and he hated him. He ran away from him. And then when we came back,
Your
he
cat
found
hates
us again.
everybody. Hated everybody.
He loved me in a violent way.
That's not my problem.
Well, you know that thing that cats do where they're getting pet and they like it, and then like the switch goes off in their brain and they go, we have to bite. My cat had that, except it would happen way sooner and it would be way more violent when he'd do it. Like the full like one moment he's being all snuggly and happy, and the next moment he's like
you would literally have to
on my hand like an
you would have to,
anaconda, and I'm like banging it against the wall to get him off, and he's not getting off. You imagine a 10-year-old boy with this little orange tabby cat having a war in his bed. Like, we're talking about, I'm going to sleep, the cat gets in my bed, I start petting him, he's all happy, he's purring, and then the switch goes off, and now it's like WWE. There's would be cussing if I knew any cuss words at that point, but I didn't because I was, kidding. It was in a missionary family, didn't know any cuss words. I knew some Spanish ones. And this cat is hissing. There was a war going on. The bed's shaking. Everything's dying. My dog's wondering what's wrong. See, now I have a cat.
Don't you go in the storage room?
Who's oddly enough, he hardly ever does that at all. When he actually does attack, he usually has good reason because he's been chased by like toddlers all day long.
4 toddlers. And
eventually he just doesn't have any more patience left for anything, even me. And I don't blame him for that. He's a great little.
It's funny
orange,
is he doesn't dare try and scratch me because he knows I'll whack him.
Oh, a new type, sir. Been in. I'm still confused about the title of your. That's because you came an hour and 20 minutes in, big guy. I mean, we already talked about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and why it's good that it's being punished for being gay. Basically. But you know what? New people coming in. To purge DEI, the diversity stuff, and all the rest, to have normal video games again that aren't gay, you have to purge all of it. You can't have the options and RPG for homosexuality and all that. And this whole event. Oh, how is it being gay? Did you not? Oh, some people probably don't know yet. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has added a homosexual sex scene and homosexual romance options in its medieval RPG. And my argument is there should be none of that in any video game. No homosexual options at all. And so I am happy that it is being crucified for this business. And that's where I stand. Here we go. Here it is. And we don't have to see it. And it doesn't have to be in our video games. Fancy that. And it is not good, and it is hedonistic. And we live in a day and age that we are fighting with ultimate diversity bullshit. And to do that, you have to cleanse the palate before you can show any of the historical references. And there we go. So, if you don't want crappy video games with homosexuality and all that, you have to purge all of it. All of it. And I would encourage you to rewatch the stream then, because I'm not going to go into ad nauseum about all of this. Oh, it is all about DEI, big guy. See, if you allow the homosexuality, you allow the DEI agenda. You allow the diversity agenda in. Is it about? No. Anyway, then you can rewatch the stream. I'm not going to talk anymore about it right now. Just accept that you shouldn't be gay like that. And as a man to you, stop being gay. It's not good for you. Just stop. And now, gentlemen, I want everyone to see what we're talking about. The first argument right off the bat. There are gay people that exist historically, so I want them to bang on screen for me. Don't be a fag, Ben. It's not good for you. I don't know if you want the faggotry or if you want boobs and you're worried they're going to come after your boobs after this. Just stop. All right? Games will be better for it. It's okay. And now I am tired. So we're going to go to bed. If you guys want my full opinions on it and you're new to the stream, go ahead and hit the refresh button or the start at the beginning of the stream. We had a really good one. Art gains and all you guys. I'm not gay myself. I like to historic. No, you're being gay. You need to stop because it's not historically accurate. These people didn't exist like this, and they didn't exist in very large numbers. You can have a game about historical stuff without homosexuality. I'm still on my business trip. Art gains. God. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Thanks for coming on. And I will see you all.
And don't be gay.
Don't be gay. It's good for all of us. Now, again, as we said, Sunday will be the Grizzly Files,
Monday.
which will be actually a sea monster episode, which is really interesting. Found a really fascinating sea serpent sighting back in the 1800s. Was the 1800s?
It was the 1800s.
Yeah, whaling ship. Ooh, whaling ship killed the sea serpent and then disappeared mysteriously. Ooh. And now, again, Ben, I'm not going to talk about this anymore, big guy. You can rewatch the stream. Okay? And yes, it does throw harm to put faggotry in anything because let's see here. Before I give up, you can throw in a few frothing stuff in game. No harm. But now if you get caught being gay, it would be historically accurate to burned at the stake. But they're not going to do that. And it's, in the words of the designer, a homosexual adventure. Okay? This is the point. It is being gay. Now, you can rewatch the stream. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. See, guys, this is what I'm talking about. He's not actually trying to have a philosophical debate with me. He's just trying to protect his boobs. That's all it is. You guys heard all the arguments. I want you to look at this guy and recognize it and shame these kinds of guys when you deal with them. It's not about the philosophy. It's not about being historical accurate. It's about, ooh, homosexuality. Ooh, I want my boobs. Ooh, I want my hedonism. That's the whole point. That's why it's here. That's why he's there. And that's why he can't handle someone saying the truth, which is we don't need to have homosexuality in games. It doesn't need to be there. you can show plenty of real life without it. And now we're going to continue. So Saturday there, Sunday will be our Sunday school lessons. Will be a written form. And then Monday we'll go over the stream. It's been a lot of fun, guys, but I got to get this woman to bed. It's past midnight for us.
Past the night, yeah. You got
Don't let the hedonism in. You guys have a good one.